devilish challenge ends in a live stream tragedy. Imagine thousands of people watching a live broadcast of a man being subjected to relentless psychological and physical torture for more than 200 continuous hours before something happened at the end that horrified France and
Turn
the
off the
entire
lights.
world. Put on your headphones and let's begin the story. How are you, my friends? As you know from time to time, a new trend or style of content emerges. Times change, and with them, tastes change as well. If you go back to videos from 15 years ago, you'll notice that everything was completely different. Editing styles, delivery, even comedy. But unfortunately, we are now living through one of the worst phases, the era of TikTok challenges. Open the app, and you'll see countless people humiliating themselves, doing things no rational person would accept for themselves, all for a few views or virtual gifts. Where is human dignity in that? Our story today proves that this has gone far beyond silly content. It has reached a terrifying level. This case takes us to France, where a live broadcast appeared on the platform Kick, featuring a group of content creators, most notably three. Jean Bourmanov, 46 years old. Owen Sanazan Adut, better known as Naruto. Safin Hamadi. But before we get to the tragic ending, let's go back a little. Jean's real name, Raphael Gravin, was born in 1979 in France and lived his whole life with his mother. In his youth, he joined the military but had to leave due to heart problems and his frail body. Since then, he lived an ordinary but lonely life, unmarried, no children, no friends, and not even a home of his own. By age 41, he was still living in his parents' house, something considered unusual in Europe, where young people are expected to leave home by 18 or earlier. Eventually, Jean decided to try content creation. In 2020, he began posting clips on TikTok while playing video games. Thanks to his likable personality and entertaining playstyle, he quickly gained a large following, became recognized, attended events, and even had fans take pictures with him. For the first time, he felt his life had meaning. People knew him, and most importantly, he had friends. That's when he met Owen and Safin, and the three began making gaming-related videos together. Later, Jean decided to change his content as gaming had lost much of its popularity compared to years prior. That's when Owen and Safin suggested he join them on Kick in a type of live streaming they called Unreal Life. The idea was simple. Start a live broadcast and let things happen. Challenges from viewers, trips, pranks, food. Basically, content without limits. Chan liked the idea, believing it would be fun times with his friends. But he didn't know that his role wasn't to create content with them. He was going to be the content. Owen and Safin decided to make him the subject of ridicule and abuse live on camera. The challenges began in early 2023, disguised as entertainment. Sometimes hitting him with sponges, other times shooting him with paintball guns or boxing with gloves while he took continuous blows. At first, Jean felt humiliated and uncomfortable, but he convinced himself the viewers were enjoying it and that his friends wouldn't truly hurt him. But over time, Owen and Safin gradually escalated the violence because the more intense the abuse, the more views and donations they received. The audience didn't just watch. They paid to keep the torture going. The tragedy was that Owen and Safin knew full well Jean had heart problems, yet they continued. Money was their real motivation. Jean received about 6,000 euros a month, an amount he had never dreamed of, but Owen and Safin earned far more, sometimes over 50,000 euros from a single stream. To keep control over him, they even bought him a car and let him live with them in the house where the challenges took place. Things grew increasingly brutal. John's mother even called him during one live stream and said, "Leave. Why are you letting them do this to you?" But John didn't leave. Why? Because Owen was a master manipulator. He convinced Jean that he had no one else, that this was normal among friends, and that if he left, he'd die alone. Worse, he threatened him. "If you go, I'll report your family. For living in a house without legal papers, I'll take back the car I gave you." Jean believed the lies and endured the abuse. At one point, they even chained him up live on camera because he thought of leaving again. By December 2024, French newspapers began reporting on the situation, asking, "How is this still allowed? How can thousands watch a man being humiliated and tortured without intervention?" The worst part was that a large portion of the viewers were children, watching, laughing, and even suggesting new ways to torment Jean in the comments, thinking it was just a joke. The real danger? Raising an entire generation that sees cruelty as entertainment. In early 2025, the police finally arrested Owen and Safin, but they were released without charges. Instead of stopping, they grew bolder, forcing the house without legal papers. "I'll take back the car I gave you." Jean believed the lies and endured the abuse. At one point, they even chained him up live on camera because he thought of leaving again. By December 2024, French newspapers began reporting on the situation, asking, "How is this still allowed? How can thousands watch a man being humiliated and tortured without intervention?" Abuse and sleep deprivation. The suffering wasn't just physical, beatings, humiliation, exhaustion, but psychological as well, mocking his age, reminding him he had no family or friends, constant insults. Whenever Jean begged them to stop, they laughed as if he were invisible. Imagine a man in his late 40s with heart problems, subjected to more than 200 hours of relentless torture. After 258 hours, he collapsed completely. A viewer noticed he wasn't moving. Owen threw a plastic bottle at him. No response. He tried to wake him. And fled. When the police arrived, they found John alone. At the hospital, doctors confirmed he had suffered cardiac arrest and died. During the investigation, they discovered a message Jean had sent to his mother. "How are you, Mom? I'm trapped in Naruto's death game." The truth was now undeniable. The police arrested Owen and Safin and confiscated all devices from the house. Though they tried to use Jean's video confession, claiming responsibility for anything that might happen, as their defense, investigators refused to accept it as valid evidence of innocence. Investigations are still ongoing today. The only action Kick took after the tragedy was banning everyone involved in the broadcast, a move far too late. And so our tragic story ends here. We don't yet know what judgment will be passed on them. Perhaps I'll return with the second part once new details emerge or the verdict is announced. Tell me your thoughts on this case. That's all for now. See you soon. Goodbye.